Welcome. Thank you for stopping by, fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It is your host, Galadon, and I'm excited to bring you today the first of a three-part series, an interview with Darian, the community manager of Clash of Clans. In this three-episode series, we will talk about the current update, future updates, and crushing questions that Clash of Clans players want answers to. So now is the right time to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the earliest and most accurate update information. And without further delay, let's get right into it. Over some footage of some amazing 3-stars from multiple clans, we've got part 1 of my interview with Darian. Darian, thank you for joining me again on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Galadon, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. I love seeing you in person, and, I've been a big fan for a long time.
Well, it was a great visit last month in Helsinki, that was for sure. The weather was kind of cold, but it was fun hanging out at the office with you guys.
We just had a cold snap come through Helsinki. To give kind of Fahrenheit degrees, it was about 49 to 50 last week. I mean, that was basically t-shirt spring weather, and it just dropped down to 30.
Oh man!
And we actually got a little bit of snowfall yesterday and today. So spring's not quite ready to come yet.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm glad I'm over here in Southern California right now. Then, so maybe I'll come visit you this summer or something.
Well, how warm is it there right now? I heard you guys are pretty much in a heat wave.
Well, it's been in the 60s, like the high 60s, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
And how's that April Fool's video doing on your channel? That was a lot of fun.
April Fool? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. No, that was a blast. And you know what was really cool was that people took it really well. Like, I've noticed it in previous years, people get angry about April Fool's videos and they dislike it like crazy. And this year, people seem to really understand the humor in it more. And I thought that was really cool to see.
That was a lot of fun to film. Ano had a lot of fun with it doing too. I mean, obviously you can see the outtakes of him just having fun. And we all that was probably one of the most fun videos we've done in a long time.
Oh my gosh, that was, it was hilarious. I still look back at it and laugh, and I have to thank you guys again. You were both so cool and like really proficient. Like obviously you guys had done a lot of those videos, but it was just super easy to do that with you guys, and definitely a lot of fun. I'm already thinking about what's going to happen next year.
Nice.
So, but okay, so let's get down to brass tacks here. I've got some tough questions, some questions that the community seems to be asking repeatedly. Every time I stream, every time I put out a video, I get these similar questions, if not exactly the same. So I thought, hey, maybe I can at least pose them to you. Hopefully you can answer some of them, and we'll just go from there.
I will do my best.
Okay, so first things first, I know that the 10x loot in Clan Wars is a big topic of discussion because apparently everybody's worried that their treasury isn't going to hold that, but we've seen this before, right?
Correct. I want to say it was maybe a year and a half ago. All these updates kind of get fuzzy after a while. We did I think it was like a 5x or something like that, where win, lose, or draw, you basically got 5x the amount of resources, and if you hit the treasury capacity, well, I mean, that was, you pretty much hit it. The logic behind how the treasuries work when you earn loot through wars and attacking, it's a different system than, let's say, collecting resources, like the kind that does overflow.
Okay.
There's actually different logic system behind it. I can't really go into the technical details because I'm not a programmer, but it was explained to me that because the two logic systems are different, one can't go over capacity without a serious revamp of the system. But a lot of these things, like the 5x or this 10x, they're more kind of promotional aspects because we're celebrating the anniversary of the release of Clan Wars. So the goal is to just have everybody just fill up their resources as much as possible. Yes, that does mean that some is going to overflow, or meaning you will reach capacity, and anything that goes above that capacity, unfortunately, does get lost. But the goal is just have them filled, so that way you can just start upgrading or just using it right away.
I see. So it is kind of a cruel joke to watch it all spill over, but at least the idea is, hey, your treasury is going to be full, spend it as much as fast as you can. So I guess that sort of makes sense, but I can also see where players are kind of like, there's millions of loot just pouring onto the ground and I can't collect it. So it's kind of like...
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Okay, well, understandable, and we'll just clear that up so it's just up to the players to spend it as fast as possible, I guess.
Correct.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the last update, and it seems like there was a lot of controversy, and it's primarily about two things. So the 3D heroes. Okay. I am on the wrong side of this apparently because I like the way they look, but I hear people saying that they don't like the way the 3D heroes look because they don't fit with the rest of the game, and that the rest of the game is rendered the old-fashioned way, and the heroes are 3D. Is there a plan to render more of the game in 3D eventually, or is this? Do you know where we're headed here?
So, the reason why we had to do them in 3D was so we can do skins, and because Clash of Clans is not actual 3D, it's what we call 2.5D. It's two dimensions designed to look like 3D by giving a false sense of depth. So that means for 2D you don't use 3D polygons. You use pixels, vectored art. So when you see a hero animated in the old style, for example, let's use the Barbarian King as an example. Mm-hmm. Let's say he goes from standing still to raising his sword. Every single frame of movement is a different picture, all spliced together to give a sense of false animation. Kind of like those old flip book cartoons,
right?
Where you draw a different pose on each page, and when you flip it, it kind of gives a sense of motion. That's what essentially goes on with a two-dimensional character. However, so if we wanted to do a skin for each of those heroes, we would have to redraw every single frame for every single animation, and not just one direction. Now imagine how many different directions the Barbarian King faces. Mm-hmm. Upwards, downwards, okay. Diagonal. So you can imagine how many hand-drawn images would have to be done for every single pose. Now, multiply that by each hero.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's...
Yeah. So I guess we're kind of at
an insane amount of work.
Yeah, the limitations of technology right now, I guess.
Yes.
Because I would imagine things will advance.
Right. So, but when you have a 3D model that's designed with polygons, it's easier to animate because it's a 3D object. And in order to change the appearance, all you do that's where the term skin comes from. You wrap the skin or a texture around that 3D model. So rather than having to redraw every single pose, you just wrap the model or the skin around the model, and the skin follows the motion of the animation. So all we need to do is just come up with a different skin for each thing. But that does require the model or the heroes to be rendered in 3D. And it is why there's a little bit of a visual discrepancy between the 3D models and then the rest of the game. Part of it has to do with we had to make the 3D models low enough resolution that older devices wouldn't chug when rendering a 3D model.
Okay.
Now, as devices, as the requirements of the game increase into the future, and older devices get phased out, we may increase the fidelity of those 3D models.
Okay, and that would explain why some players are saying they look clunky, is because the fidelity's not higher yet, and that's partially because of the amount of time it would take to do it, and partially because of devices out there that can't handle it.
Correct.
Right, okay. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, so either way, it's definitely been a divisive argument about whether people love them or hate them. I personally like them, and so I'm curious. I'm assuming that the Warden will eventually get turned into a 3D model then.
Yes. We couldn't get the Warden done in time for the update, but we weren't really in a rush to get it completed simply because we were only releasing one skin for this first month. And next month's skin, or next season's skin, will be revealed fairly soon, and it's a pretty cool one.
Okay.
I got to see a sneak peek of it internally, and it just looks really cool.
So, okay. Well, yeah, it's funny. A lot of people are guessing. I mean, it seems like it makes sense. It would go to be the queen next since she's already ready for it.
It's a very logical, or that's a very good leap of logic. I don't want to say yes or no just because I want it to be a surprise, but the Grand Warden model will come in a later update.
Okay.
And as far as, well, and to address your second question about is the game itself moving towards a 3D model, early in the discussion, in fact, we've been wanting to do skins for a very long time. In fact, we had originally had the idea of releasing it with the Town Hall 12 update.
Oh, wow.
And we were also talking about, it'd be cool to do building skins, like, alter, the Archer Tower to look like this giant, menacing citadel or something, or even, swappable map textures to make your village, instead of just being green grass, make it look like, burnt lava or, dried grass or something like that.
Wow.
But once we scoped out the project of how we had to do skins, we had to push it back because the Town Hall 12 release took higher priority. If we wanted to do skins for the buildings, because they don't really move, it might be a little bit easier to be able to swap out art assets. But things like, the Archer Tower, which has archers on top, they might end up looking the same. While the texture of the building changes, I don't know. I'm not an artist, so I don't know exactly how much technical detail will go into it. But we don't have any plans to change the buildings to 3D just yet. In fact, it's not even on the books yet.
Yeah, well, I guess you guys have you have a long list of things you're working on, obviously.
Yeah, so we got quite a bit.
And okay, so before I get onto those things on that list, also I just wanted to ask, so we know the Gladiator King, the skin is permanent once you unlock it through the Gold Pass, but will it come around again? Will it ever be available again at some point in the future?
It's entirely a possibility. One of the questions is, I guess one of the concerns is, if, let's say, a year from now, we re-offer the Barbarian skin through the season challenges. For everybody who already has it, that would mean that gold tier isn't as valuable to them because they already have that skin, so they see no reason to upgrade to it. So I don't see us offering again through the gold tier of the season challenges. But you never know. It might come up like during a special event, like in one of the in-game value packs for, let's say, I'm gonna say hypothetically, let's say for the World Championship Finals, let's say we put a World Championship Finals skin in the store for everybody who wants it, rather than put it in a gold tier. And this is not something that's we're talking about. I'm just hypothesizing that it's something we could do.
That does make sense, and it kind of answers my next question, which was, would that skin ever become available by another means like gems, league medals? And that obviously, because of what you just said, would not happen then.
It's we don't have any. In fact, the idea of doing it for gems is one that's just like upgrading to the gold tier is ruled out for now.
Okay.
We may revisit it at some point in the future, but in the meantime, it is something that's ruled out. But it is something that could be possibly offered in the store, or even a possibly clan game reward. We have. Wow. I mean, we've only done one skin so far, so we haven't really planned it that far as how do we want to reintroduce them later on. We want to at least have a huge library of skins available before we start looking at revisiting old skins.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, we'll just wait and see what happens next month for that then. So
you got it.
Cool. Okay. So also along the lines of the challenges, I've noticed that the daily challenges are always the same 3. Is that the plan as far as we can tell for the near future? That they'll always be the same every day?
So the first one, at least for the first season challenges, I know that, the dev video trying to convey how a lot of abstract concepts can be very difficult to convey in a short, 3-4 minute dev update video. So with the daily challenges with them recycling every day, we wanted to get players in the mentality that these change every single day. And that lack of variety in them was intentional at first. We just wanted to let players know, like, every day, make sure you check this. Going forward, yeah, we do have the ability to kind of mix things up a bit. In fact, we have kind of like a giant list of different tasks that we can introduce to the season challenges. Some of them are much more challenging than others, but the daily ones, we have to make sure that these are ones that can be done within 24 hours. So obviously, if it's something like, earn 25 stars. If you're someone who's in the Legend League stuck in the clouds, that's obviously something that you can't do. So the daily ones are ones that have to be relatively easy enough that anybody of any town hall can do.
Okay, and that makes sense, and that kind of gets into my next question, the idea that there are a lot of players that get the weekly ones that are impossible. So that's just, I guess that's probably not going to change. It seems like, I guess it might be a big task to try to tailor the weekly challenges to every single account and not give them one they can't complete.
The idea was, so the system that controls the tasks, it's a very simple system. We basically have a list of tasks that we've created, and every week we populate them. It's not necessarily a manual process, but we kind of pick and choose which ones get unlocked each week. And given that it's only been, the second week of the season challenges, so I can understand that players like, there's so many of them that I can't do. Well, that's intentional. And the reason behind that is because every single player sees the exact same challenges unlock every week. So whether it's my account or your account, Galadon, when week 2 comes by, we see the exact same challenges. But because we're different town hall levels, obviously some of the tasks are going to be able to be done by myself, like I can upgrade walls. But there's going to be tasks later on that will unlock that lower town halls cannot do, but you will be able to do. Like, let's say, destroy an Eagle artillery or destroy a Giga Tesla or X number of them. That'll be a high point one, like the wall one.
Okay.
When I say that the logic of the system is incredibly simple, these do not target town hall levels. So there isn't something that says, okay, I see Galadon's account, that's a Town Hall 12, we're only going to feed him Town Hall 12 challenges. But we put enough challenges into the month that even with just mild activity, you'll be easily able to complete every single tier of the challenges. There's more than enough points for everybody to be able to complete them.
Yeah, I actually have noticed that. I've been working on them. I actually have a Town Hall 7 that has the gold pass just to experiment and see. And I think after 5 days, I'm close to halfway there. So I guess it is. Yeah. It should look like pretty much everybody can complete it. So okay.
Yeah. And we intentionally we made sure that the number of points available to each player each month. I want to say, I think there's like 4,000 or something points available. Like, if every single task was completed. So obviously that means some of them won't be completed, and that still puts you in excess over how many points you need to reach the final tier.
I see.
So there's no reason for players to panic about not being able to do tasks. I understand that, there are a lot of completionist-minded people who just hate seeing tasks that can't be completed. Right. I do understand that. There's tasks I want to click on, like, how come I'm not getting points for those? Oh, I can't do that one. And I understand that, but this wasn't meant to be a complete completionist feature. We knew going in that there were going to be tasks that some people just couldn't do.
And that right there is the end of part 1 of the interview with Darian. I decided to cut off right here because this is really the point in the interview where we went from talking about the current update and changes and suggestions and things like that, and we moved on to talking more about future updates and what is coming later on this year, and actually not that far away. We're talking about within the next couple of months to Clash of Clans. By the end of June, we are going to see some huge updates, and I was actually able to get some new information from Darian speaking in regards to not only Builder Hall 9, but Operation Blue Skies, and possibly even hints as to what Town Hall 13 might hold. So I hope you guys are able to check that out as well. Again, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, because not only are you going to get interviews like this, but you get awesome 3-star strategies that we will break down. I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there just enjoying these attacks, and it was, again, a real honor to be part of Tribe Gaming. I was able to rejoin the clan, even though they're big all-stars, they're heavy hitters that qualified in the first round of the Poland tournament, the championship playoffs. Those guys all left. They left Tribe Gaming because they wanted these guys to have a chance to, I mean, who knows? It's possible they could qualify again. They did win every single war, and decisively so. They ended up with, in their bracket, over 300 stars in this season of CWL, but I don't believe it was enough to land them in the top 4 position. But watch for that on the channel as well, because I will be covering as many of those top 4 qualifying clans that we expect to see at the end of this month back in Katowice, Poland. And of course, I will be back there. Klaus will be there. Renee Butler will be there as well. If you guys miss those streams, make sure you don't miss this month. As always, thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of this extended episode. Watch out for the next couple of days for the second installment in the interview with Darian. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Now get out there, spend some time outside, be kind to people, be kind to animals, be kind to the planet. Thank you guys for the love for my dog, Awesome, by the way. He's doing very well. And I will see you guys all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon! Man, you two can talk! I thought that episode would go on forever!